hey, it's your boy Zach here, and it's kind of the middle of the workday, but I don't know, old man yells at cloud, kind of annoyed at certain things on YouTube, and I just wanted to get it off my chest about what some of these things are, right? Because I have YouTube on while I'm working and doing whatever, and I just enjoy watching people on YouTube and watch videos, and it's fun because you can go and watch the stuff that you want to watch. And like Chris from abroad in Japan was saying, it feels like YouTube is more genuine than just watching somebody on TV. And I think that's true. But here's what annoys me is I think that the algorithm has changed dramatically. I don't know when it was, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago or something, but I'm really getting the full brunt of it and its effects now that I have the TV on or that I have YouTube on more often when I'm working. I just have it off to the side and I have it on while I'm working, and I watch it or listen to it depending on where my attention is kind of being, if I need a break or whatever. But something that I've noticed, there's a couple different things and they're really frustrating, and I want to talk about them and get them off my chest, and so here they are. There are certain trends that I think people are doing to appease the algorithm, which I don't blame them for at all. But take a look at some of these and tell me if you see them too. But thumbnails are now all about, they almost all have a thing off to the side, whichever side, in the title, and then just a picture, of course, of the presenter, the person going like, just these weird expressions. And I get it. I get all this stuff. I don't blame the creators, but there's that. And it's like every single thumbnail almost is like that. It's that, or it's some kind of title that I've also been noticing too, where you'll see things that are capitalized just because, and so it feels like what it feels like are early banner ads. Maybe not even early banner ads, mid banner ads, like 2006, not 2006, 2009, where it's like this one thing, people hate this guy for this thing. But it's all capitalized, and I get it, and it's really good to capture attention because I'm getting my attention captured. It's like those old fishing infomercials where it's like, fish bite even when they don't want to eat anything. When they're not hungry, they'll still eat out of necessity or out of instinct. It's a knee-jerk reaction, and it works. People are getting really good at doing this. It's grinding down to what gets a person to look at their video, and that's cool, but it's like, it brings me to my next point, is that when I'm sitting here just trying to find something to put on, if I'm watching something like, here's some videos that I genuinely enjoy watching. I like watching Abroad in Japan. That guy is really good at presenting something in a fashion where it's not just a shitload of jump cuts, zoom ins, crazy shit, which I get, but it's like you can sit back and you can actually watch it, and it is kind of that intermediary between a TV show traditionally and a YouTube channel. And so I like that because I get some fulfillment out of it. But other stuff, like, that's why I like watching Nintendo Capri Sun, is because his Let's Plays are they're just almost bare bones. You can just sit back and you can really enjoy it and relax and take it in. But other videos are just nothing but jump cuts and spins and crazy stuff. And I feel like those are the videos that these titles have. And it's like, yeah, it grabs my attention. It's one, I guess, a good example of somebody who does that, but still has some pretty good content, right, is Trogley, his guitar show. I like guitars. I like watching his guitar show because they have all these crazy, rare guitars that he documents, and it's great. But he does that, and he puts these emojis in his, instead of his picture, he puts, like, I think they're the just cringe emojis. Not that he's cringe, but, and not that his choice is, it's just the emojis that people use. This set, I don't know, I don't like them. Not cringe is the wrong word, I don't like them. But, like, it's the same thing. It's a thumbnail with this emoji, and then the title where it's like, this was something I never, you always capitalize I never wanted to see, And I get it. I don't blame anybody for using this, but what I am saying is when you're looking at every other video has this style of presentation for the thumbnails, you kind of think like, well, something's telling me that I want to watch this. This seems interesting. But what I've realized recently is it's kind of like what happened, the feeling is almost similar to when you were watching TV before YouTube, and it's like, well, I didn't want to watch this, but it's on, so I'll watch it, and it's enjoyable because it's a good show, but it's not something you meant to go watch. And I feel like there's a lot of videos that are like that now. As I'm scrolling, the reason that I made this video in general is just now I was scrolling through YouTube just to try and find something to throw on. And every video was what I'm talking about over and over again. And I thought, well, I don't actually want to sit down and watch any of these videos. They all seem interesting. They're very good at thinking, looking at them and saying, hey, that could be interesting. And they are. But it's like, it's kind of like grabbing some fast food as opposed to sitting down to a nice meal where you're going to have stick to your bones kind of food. And this, again, nothing against the content of the videos, but it's like that's kind of what I feel like at the end of the day is that I just eaten or consumed a lot of fast food video because they're things that looked good. They looked tasty, and they were, but they're not full fulfilling videos. I don't know. That's a weird condescending way to say it. I'm not trying to be condescending, but it's like, well, it's on. I'll watch it. It's interesting enough to keep my attention, but at the end of the day, like, would I have sat down and watched this because? No, I'd watched it because it was on. And on that note too, I watched one video, part of it recently, about how to like clean a washer, right? Because our washing machine smells, and I think it's because there's some standing water in there. So what do I get now? Fucking every other video is about how to clean washer, and they're all from different people. I'm fighting allergies at the moment, by the way, so my nose is constantly running. And it's just, every other video is that. And my point with that is that it goes back to what I was saying about the algorithm. The old style of YouTube used to be just a peppering of random shit, and it was great. That's why you got to that corner of YouTube, right? Because you'd be like, I'm going to go watch something about, I don't know, travel, and then suddenly it's like, this weird, completely unrelated thing about some bat boy living in a cave in South America. It's like, what the fuck is that? And you keep progressively going down this just it's an anthill, but like the underground stratum, right? It's just different tunnels everywhere, rabbit hole, I guess, too. And it was interesting, but now it's like, because the algorithm points you at the same kind of video for one time that you watched part of it. I've heard this criticism before from creators, is that you have to feed to the algorithm and you have to make your video like everybody else, because the algorithm isn't going to present a smattering of different things. It's going to say, oh, you liked a washer video about how to clean a washer, so here's 50 other ones from different people, and if you want to get on that list, you have to make something really similar in presentation to what everybody else is making. And so it's just force-fed this bland amount, or not bland, but it becomes bland because all you see is the same thing, amount of videos that they've wanted to be different, but they can't be, because if that's their livelihood, they can't afford to not get on that list. And so the result as the consumer or the viewer is that you're just smashed with all of these very, very similar videos that have been made to try and get on this list. And it kills me because, like I said, if all the videos that are being presented to me are these things that are interesting, but not something that I necessarily would sit down to go watch, then at the end of the day, I just feel this is why it's important, is at the end of the day, there's just this weird feeling. It really is that kind of feeling of like, of like a video version of fast food. Like, I've just eaten a whole bunch of it. Yeah, I'm full. Yeah, I watched it, but I don't feel good about it. Like, I do like to sit down and watch some videos I'm in the mood for that are fun to learn about, right? There's that one guy, I can't remember any of his channels offhand, the names of them, but he does 20 different channels, and he's a super interesting guy. But that's not something that you can just have on in the background either, right? So I want to give a shout out to some channels that I do think are good for that, instead of just me complaining. Coffee House Crime I found while working here. I just have it on in the background. You can kind of have it going and listening to it. And he's really good. He's really chill. He's laid back, but he still is able to present things that grab your attention and you can have on in the background, but it's still it's kind of that intermediary in a good way. It's you can digest it while you're focusing on your work, and it's I don't know, it's really good. Maybe all true crime is like that. I have no idea. I don't ever watch true crime, but I started because this guy was really good. And yeah, I guess all that stuff just it's after I realized it. I mean, try this for yourself. Right? If you're on YouTube, just look at your recommended stuff and look at how many of those videos you actually would want to just say, you know what, I'm going to focus on just this. I'm going to sit and watch just this one video for the next 15 minutes or whatever it is, and see how many you can actually sit through, because a lot of them are, like I said, I think being designed to, first of all, grab your attention knee jerk, like I was saying, with the random capital, not random, but they're capital words, every other words, that it's like it naturally gets you to want to, oh, you know, that's interesting. And then how much of the editing is just crazy micro edit jumps all the time, because that's another trend I didn't mention necessarily specifically that I see is you just have these jump cuts that are all over. And one thing that, oh my god, just makes my skin crawl when I first heard it, and now it's a standard, is it makes me think of the old investigative reporting stuff, but like a current affair, where it's really trying to throw a message at you and be entertainment shock value, is where you record an entire conversation, but you cut out any pauses. And so it naturally makes your mind jump to always be catching attention, because if you're listening to me right now, I don't cut a lot of my stuff. It's just me talking, and there's those lulls, because that's how natural conversation works. And I get it. It's boring. It doesn't hold your attention. You have to want to listen to me to keep the attention focused on me. But the standard is really just cut out every single pause. And I first noticed it with a really good channel. It is a good channel. Music is Win, right? Tyler Larson does an awesome job. He's a great guy. He seems like a cool guy from his videos. But he's the first guy I noticed that does that wasn't doing crazy jump cut edit videos where I don't have a good example of that, but of what I'm talking about with that. But with him, it's like he'll talk, and then, like I said, he'll cut out each pause, and it does keep your attention. And if you don't realize that that's happening, you get mentally kind of worn out, and you don't realize it, because your mind is always focusing on each of these little things and being perked up constantly. It's like somebody who's trying to take a rest, and you get poked during a run. Like if you're jogging, you're like, I'm gonna take a rest, but then somebody comes along and says, we gotta keep going. Oh, okay, yeah. So you want to keep going. And then you're like, oh God, I'm just getting tired. So you sit down again. Somebody else runs by. Hey, we got to keep going. Well, it's like that constantly. And it doesn't give your mind any time to rest during a video. And Tyler is good about it. Like, he's not doing it all the time. But some people do. And if you have it on in the background and you're not paying all the attention to it, you're going to find that your mind is getting strained. And the reason that I thought of this later is because later I'm like, I don't have ADHD, I don't have ADD, I don't have any of this. Why am I so strained? Why am I feeling the effects like I've been thinking too much when all I've been doing is just working and having a video on? Well, it's because all these videos are doing all these combinations of things to just go and make you hyper excited, because that's what the standard is. It's like you can't make a boring video anymore. So the creators have to make something that's going to grab your attention constantly, because if you don't make an exciting video, I mean, videos that were longer than 3 minutes in 2009, you never watch. Like, there's a great Onion article, or at least the title of one, where it's like, friend who sends 8-minute long YouTube video must be fucking out of his mind. But you look at all these videos now,